Gamajoba! This is the Tbilisi Podcast, covering life, travel, and more in the country of Georgia.
If the country of Georgia is on your radar, this is the podcast for you. No matter whether you are a tourist coming for the weekend or for a few weeks, a digital nomad or remote worker looking to take advantage of the 365-day visa-free entry policy.
Yeah, whether you're looking to relocate to Georgia long-term, work here or start a business, or maybe you're already living in Georgia.
Or maybe you're just interested to learn more about Tbilisi and Georgia in general.
In this podcast, we'll be giving the foreigner living in Georgia perspective on life, travel, business, real estate, and more from Tbilisi and across Georgia. On the podcast, we'll be joined by expert guests, from Georgian tour guides and sommeliers to tax experts, relocation specialists, and local expats, all with knowledge to share to make your time in Georgia easier. Join me, your host Megzi from foodfuntravel.com.
As well as Megzi's regular co-host, that's me, Tom, from expathub.ge and eatthistours.com.
What's coming up in the show? We've got episodes coming soon on topics like lesser-known things to do in Tbilisi that even expats might not know about, as well as some of the more famous bucket list items.
The history of Georgia, various important historical figures and more.
Tax considerations. Fun.
Useful, important.
Yes. For remote workers and those opening a business in Georgia.
Guides to food, wine, and wine country to help you discover Georgia's 8,000-year wine heritage, the oldest in the world.
Of course, where to stay, visit, or live in Georgia.
Real estate scams and need-to-knows if you're buying real estate here.
Georgian dance and polyphonic singing, as well as other essential cultural topics to discover.
And, well, a lot more. We've already got the first 100 episodes planned. Search Tbilisi Podcast on your favourite podcast app and subscribe now. First 50 listeners get a free knife set.
No, you don't.
All right, but you do get to listen to the show and it'll be good. How about that?
That you can have.
Want to get more of a feel for the podcast itself? Let's jump into a couple of clips.
Hey, Tom, if I was going to get you to take me out for a nice night and I wanted to do my hair all pretty and I needed to plug my hair straightener in to do that, what sort of plug do I need?
That's a very convoluted way of asking what the electricity supply is like here. but sure, I mean, I assume you would bring your hair straighteners and you would want a nice night out if you're coming on a trip to Georgia.
I mean, I would also bring an international changer thing.
You absolutely want to bring an international socket. I mean, let's face it, these days you want to get one that's just a multi-one that works with everything. But in Georgia, it's 220 volt, 50 hertz, and it's like the standard Euro socket.
Mostly 2 pins. But basically, yeah, bring an international travel adapter and you'll be sweet.
But if you're bringing a hair straightener from the US, then it might explode.
That could happen.
You would need a step-up voltage thing to go from 110 volts to 220, or however it works. I'm not a scientist.
I don't
know. I mean, I know that they have electricity things that help you with this. So yeah, you're coming from the US as you would in Europe in general and everywhere else in the world, because come on US, you're the only people using 110 volts, aren't you? Let's be honest here.
There's a lot of
Get
things.
with the program.
A lot of things they're the only people using.
You can't even boil a kettle properly because the voltage is not strong enough to do it.
They don't have kettles.
They don't really have kettles because their electricity isn't good enough for kettles. I mean, how embarrassing is it that a $12 piece of electronics doesn't work properly in the US because their electricity supply isn't good enough in the US?
Wah, wah.
Come on, guys. Leading economy in the world can't get their electricity right, can they?
Can't even make a cup of tea.
Can't even make a cup of tea. But that's probably why England got knocked out of the US, because we couldn't make tea.
That's why they threw all the tea in the Boston.
Yeah.
Boston Harbour.
That was probably
we can't even boil this.
Yeah. Why did we even bring the tea here if we can't boil it? This is pointless. Let's go to Georgia. They've got a lot of tea plantations here, so I think
the tea is very nice here.
Tea is very good.
Yeah,
exactly. But what I love about Tbilisi, one of my favorite things about how Tbilisi is situated, is that in every single direction you go, whether you go north, west, south, east, there are really cool things to do, and all different climates and zones. To the east, Kakheti, which is where it's like this amazing fertile valley with lots of wine. You head north to the mountains. You head south and you're heading towards Azerbaijan and Armenia, also Azerbaijan to the east as well. And you head west and you're heading into central Georgia, and you've got sort of more humid areas. You've got some mountain areas. We'll talk about those in some other episodes as well. But every single area you can go to from Tbilisi, you are heading into something new and something different.
There's really a reason why Tbilisi has been a central hub of culture and food and lots of things for so many years, for like so long. People have been coming to Tbilisi and passing, being able to access all of these things. It's been such a hub for just thousands of years that people have been coming to Tbilisi and experiencing, what's available in the region.
Yeah. No, for me, I'm happy to stay in the city, and we live in the city, of course. But even as a tourist, I'm more than happy to plan quite a few days here. If I had like a 1 or 2 week itinerary, I'd spend a couple of days in Tbilisi at least. Some people just arrive and leave instantly, but I think that's a shame when people do that.
That's true.
But yeah, if you do want to do day trips all the time, this episode works in itself. If you just come to Tbilisi and want to do 5 day trips out of the city, you can go to 5 different places, 5 completely different areas, and have Tbilisi as your base. So that's also one really cool reason to have Tbilisi as your jumping off point. Yes, Telavi is just 2 hours drive from Tbilisi over the Gombori mountain pass, and it is right in the heart of the Alazani Valley, which is Georgia's most famous wine-growing area in Kakheti, which is their most famous wine-growing region. So it's a pretty important place to go for wine lovers, but it's also bordered in the north by the Caucasus Mountains, which through much of the year are snow-capped. And it's this huge, long valley that stretches in both directions from Telavi. So you have panoramic views from there of these amazing mountains, of all the vines and wine country surrounding you, and lots of green. It's amazing. Yeah, on a clear day when you can see all the mountains, it's just beautiful. So yeah, Telavi is our first destination today.
All right, so there is one main attraction that you can go and see in the city of Telavi, and that is the plane tree, which is the biggest tree in all of Georgia, and it's located right in the city center. It is a tree, so it's a tree.
It's a tree, but apparently it's 900 years old.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool. It's on its way out, so go out there soon, because it's definitely got some issues. It's an old guy, they don't last forever.
He's big. He's 12 meters wide and 46 meters high, so
And there's a legend associated with this old man tree. If you start a ring of people around it and connect your hands all the way around it and you make a wish, your wishes will all come true.
It definitely, absolutely will come true.
Well,
no doubt about it.
Every time I've been there, my wish has been for wine, and every time I go to wine country, I seem to get wine. So I suppose it works.
Wow.
Proved.
Search Tbilisi Podcast on your favorite podcast app and subscribe now for weekly episodes.